Hi guys, Doge here with a new video. In this video, we'll talk about how to deal with warlocks as a druid, and I'm going to say that 90% of the chances you'll have to run, but you can actually run from a warlock, so that's a good positive thing. I am currently on my druid, and he is Moonglow spec, I would say. Like, it is regrowth Moonglow because it's also a PvE spec. So I don't have 30 points into balance. I have like a Moonglow, so basically nature's grace and Moonglow, plus I have then 27 points or 28 points into restoration, which basically gives me like 3 points into regrowth. It's always good for a raiding. But basically, I'm doing some wall PvP. I didn't want to talk about the rogue 1v1. I have footage, so if someone wants to see how to 1v1 versus a rogue, I can show you guys. But normally you should be able to win because it is quite easy. But he was a guy that has like 2 accounts, so he was basically on his rogue and he came with his warlock to try to hunt me down, and this is kind of the 1v1 that happened. It's not the most skillful warlock that you'll ever see, that's for sure, but it kind of goes for the same matchup, I would say. I would say that if you're facing like a succubus, it's a bit different because he can maybe charm you. But if he's a fell hunter, he could like dispel you and silence you. But obviously, that will depend on who you're facing. Now he has a Voidwalker. It is also a cell lock, so you do and you deal less damage. But also, it's a lot less scary to face like 1v1 because he's not going to burst you down. I think versus a Destruction Warlock, you have a bit more of a harder time because he could actually just like burst you down. You could also burst them down because it's possible. But if he does like a conflag with a shadow burn, you could probably lose your life very easily. Now I'm going to talk step by step what I'm doing. So I thought it was a 2v1. There was a rogue sapping him, but he didn't really engage at all in the fight. So pretty much I started with like putting a Fairy Fire, Moonfire, Insect Swarm. It's a double account. I didn't know at the time, but then I actually realized like he doesn't move, and I'm kiting the Warlock. Now I'm very close to the guards, so I thought like there is no way I can win 1v1 like purely a 1v1. That's not possible. So what I did is I dispelled Agony. I made sure that it was not a rank 1 Agony. If it's a rank 1 Agony, I just let it go. But if it's like dealing too much damage, I just dispel it. I see his mana actually dropping whenever he's doing Agony, so it means that it is a high rank spell. And obviously I tried to run. I'm not going to face him like 1v1 because it's not possible. I also don't have the best gear possible. As a Moonglow Resto Druid, I have better gear as a Feral Druid. But at the end, I try to do a Moonfire, sometimes an Insect Swarm. I take my distance because I don't want to get Mortal Coiled. Don't want to get feared. I have my trinket still up, so I can defend myself. I have Nature's Swiftness as well, if you can see on my screen here below. But we're trying to run away, right? And I'm thinking about like, look, if he really wants to kill me, he might get like guard aggro, which is not going to deal too much damage at level 60, but it's still going to be significant enough to maybe win the 1v1. So I thought like, okay, I don't want to face him. I want to like wear him down. So I'm doing Moonfires to try to get a bit of chip damage. I have enough mana, I have enough health. I do a Wrath here and there, which is a bit greedy. And again, my mana and my health is dropping. I don't have like potions, I don't have NG on this character yet. So I'll try to do my best. He has no mana, so he is very greedy. And he popped a health stone or a potion, I don't know, because I saw his HP go up. And basically I Entangling Rooted him, Insect Swarm, and then I'm going to try to heal myself. So I have Innervate on myself, Regrowth, and I have a Rejuve on me. And I will go to cat form, Stealthing. He did a mistake, he should not sit, because if he sits he gets critted. He got critted, and basically that's a 1v1 easily won. Here he Void Walker sacked. Obviously, he is backpedaling. He is not the best Warlock. But at the end, that's how you should fight a Warlock. You don't need to fight him 1v1 straight up, because he would destroy me. Like, if he is backpedaling or not, he would just literally dog walk me, pretty much. With the damage and with the sustain that it has, with the CC that it has, I have no chance of winning if I'm doing a straight fight. But what did I do? I tried to wear him down, try to like use my whole Druid kit, especially Insect Swarm, Moonfire, always try to have it on the target, and he has no life regen, because he's not going to drain life here from that far, because it's not possible. You are going to wear him down, and like he sacked Pet, it is what it is. It's a Soul Link Warlock, so he had no choice at that point with that HP, and that's pretty much GG's. So then obviously I'm going to try to bleed them down. Rip, Rake, Moonfire, Insect Swarm, and at that point it is GG's. I pretty much just spam Moonfire and then a Wrath. So yeah, that's pretty much how the fight goes. Obviously versus a very, very strong Warlock, it's not going to happen like this. Obviously, if you're doing just a duel with a flag, you're not going to be able to kite that much, because there is like a boundary pretty much. What you actually need versus like a very strong Warlock, you need Shadow Reflector, because you want to Shadow Reflect Death like Mortal Coil if possible. If it's not possible, it's going to be very tough to win. Maybe Shadow Reflect the Fear. He's going to like Will of the Forsaken. It just is what it is, but at least you don't get feared. You need to have a trinket for the fears, so if there is a fear, you can trinket right away. You have to have a mana pool for it. You have to have Insect Swarm, Moonfire on target, and try to take as less damage as possible. At the end, is it like that impressive that I really 1v1 them? Maybe not, because I think retrospectively I haven't seen it, I think 5 times this fight before deciding to make the video. It's not the most skillful guy. It is what it is. But the truth is, most Warlocks, most people are going to face in PvP, they're not really skillful. Like you have to know versus who you're fighting and know your own strength. Like if I tried to like do the 1v1 straight up, I will not be able to win. And this is like, I think the first kill I did versus the Warlock, and then it came like a second time and third time, and then I stopped because it was not that interesting anymore. But in general, if you're not kiting, you are going to lose even versus the hardest, versus the worst players pretty much. I'm not saying that he's the worst, but whatever. It is what it is. I'm just saying like, okay, this is a Warlock. But in general, if you respect the range and you respect your mobility, you respect your mana and your health, you could actually just win versus anyone. Maybe not versus Shadow Priest, I don't know. Like Shadow Priest is a bit different because you cannot really dispel anything, and Shadow Word Pain already does a lot of damage. But yeah, you can see it for yourself, like the possibilities of 1v1ing. I think Druid is, in my opinion, a very good 1v1 class. There are not a lot of classes where you can actually lose straight up. I think the ones that you can lose straight up is like, for example, like a Pump Pyro Mage that is like blasting you, or an Elemental Mage where he has like Ice Block, he has Blast Wave, he has Cone of Cold, like improved Cone of Cold, I think. Like he's doing like instant damage, so you cannot really do anything except like take the damage and survive. If you survive, you can win. If you don't survive, you lose pretty much, which is logical at the end. What else? You kind of auto lose versus Warlocks and Shadow Priests if you really stand your ground. But if you're like running away, you kind of don't lose because you're running away pretty much. Versus Rogues, you should be able to win like in any like real build. So if you're playing Moonglow, Boomkin, or if you're playing Feral Druid, Deep Feral, or Heart of the Wild Feral Druid, you can basically win versus Rogues. If you have good gear, you just need to have some gear, but like good gear pretty much, just to survive the opener, and then you can win just by kiting, by like wearing down Fairy Fire, and then obviously you can do your Druid things. Versus a warrior, again, if he faps, you have to run away somehow, some way. There are many ways to run away, but obviously don't get caught and try to be bare form most of the time, and you should be able to win as well. Normally, you lose versus a warrior that is like fully beast out, fapped, use NG. For some reason, he crits like 3 times in a row. You are going to die, but that is like a lot of situations that are like compiled together where you could also use yourself like NG, use your faps as well, and run away with your 4 set or 3 set depending on your rank. So I think that's something you can work towards. Mage, like I said, only the elemental fire or elemental or pump pyro mage can actually do something versus you. Like I think frost mage, it's very annoying to shapeshift every single time, especially as a feral druid, but you basically cannot get shattered if you are aware, basically. They can maybe kill you with like just pure instant damage, but it means that your HP pool is really low. And if your HP pool is very low, like he can just spam Arcane Explosion, Cone of Cold, and Fire Blast and maybe kill you with that. It's not great, but normally you should be able to win. If you're like Moonglow or Boomkin, the likelihood of you winning is also very high because again, you can shapeshift, but you can also like just wear them down with dots and run away every single time. They cannot polymorph you, so there is no reset. And what is strong with Mage is that they can reset. Versus the Paladin, it just is like not really a great duel. It's boring. It's not going to really be interesting. Versus Shaman, you are supposed to lose, but you can actually win if you are wearing them down because of mobility. You have more range. Shock is less range than Moonfire, so you could technically still wear them down. They have to heal themselves, and their mana is the deciding factor if you're winning or not. Enhancement Shaman, you win. Elemental Shaman, you lose, kind of thing. Did I talk about everything? Hunters, I think it is like normally a Druid favorite matchup because you can bear charge, you have enough healing, you can dispel poisons, so you can put just a poison dispel and text every single time, so they cannot really deal with your mana as much as they can do with a priest. I think you can wear them down as a feral or as a Moonglow. I think Boomkin could be interesting as well, why not? But I don't think it's like the best matchup for you because Dispel Poison is a restoration spell if I'm not mistaken, so you cannot really cast it while in Boomkin form, so you will lose mana very hard, very fast, and they can just like put poisons every single, like Venom every single time on you, to Viper Sting, I mean, to take the mana away, so it's not really good. But at the end of the day, I think Druid is one of the most fantastic classes for 1v1s. I wanted to showcase this video really quickly, this matchup very quickly, so you can actually like learn how to deal with a Warlock. Usually what I do is just run away because you don't need to fight them. But if you really are like wanting to fight and you see, okay, he's a bit sluggish with his movement, you can actually dot them without getting dot, then it's becoming like very good for you to actually learn how to properly fight one. So again, thank you for watching. Have a good day. Bye.